Welcome, women of wisdom, to our weekly chat and cup of tea. In this week's video, I want to just touch on a couple of things, and I have had a question from a lady who wanted to know about modesty with style, and she said that she's very short. She's about 4'10", and described herself as dumpy. Well, look, darling, you're in good company. I'm like that too, so I might be a titsy bit taller than you, but not much. So I will do a separate video on some ways of bringing out your best features and things like that. Not in this section today, but I just wanted to answer it quickly and say, look, you cannot go wrong with a tapered look, what I call a tapered look. So wider here and get slimmer and slimmer as you go down. But the first thing to always remember, dear ladies, is you want all the attention on your face, preferably your eyes, your smile. So you want attention from here up. And because that's where your smile and the twinkle in your eyes and the sound of your speech, all your senses seem to be collected there, and that is really what you want people concentrating on. So if you're going to splash out, do it on this from the neck up. But in terms of a tapered style, and I use it frequently, one of my favorites is I wear pants, and not always, but a lot of the time, especially at home on the farm and quick trips to town. And I always wear tapered type pants. So what I mean is I wear pants that sort of come down mostly to the narrower at the ankle. So, you know, I call them tapered pants. And then occasionally I do wear other styles, but basically that's my first foundation piece, pants, which I try to have as either a darker colour or a contrast colour or a complementary colour to what I'm wearing on the top. And what I put on the top, I try to strive for a long tunic type top that covers my knees, but it's quite okay to have some splits at the side because you do need some manoeuvrability, and you're not showing bare leg because you've got your pants underneath that. So it's quite still modest. You're not flashing flesh anywhere. And it gives you freedom of movement. What I've got on today is actually a combination of that. I've got tapered pants, but I don't think my camera's going to allow you to see it. Let me see if I can do this. These are tapered pants. No, can you see them? And they come right down to my ankle, but they're tapered in. And then the top I have is just sort of like a long straight shift. There's not much style to it. I made them. But they're great for around the house because they just wash and wear. And they have splits at the sides. I've put some splits in them. And the splits come to just above the knee. And then the length of the garment is below the knee, of course, and then I've got a couple of pockets in them. But that's just my round the house stuff. Now, it's always good on your top to have an interesting hemline. So if you've got nice, modest, tapered pants, and unlike what I've got on, mine are just hemmed straight across, but you can always have, say, the front or one side tapered in a diagonal, which gives that, you know, and all that, they're illusions. They take the eye away from either your height or your width or things like that, because it's an interesting line. But you know what I think is the best advice is talk to your friends. Go for the tapered look, as in, you know, you want all the attention, all the expense, all the lights, everything, the focus is here. And this is just background stuff. but still you want to have that tapered silhouette style. Now, I'm no stylist, so I'm not going to credit myself with that. It's just things that I've found work for me, and they're usually styles that my friends will say, oh gee, you look good in that, oh that looks lovely on you. And that's why tapping into your friends that you trust in terms of have, you know, given you good advice perhaps in the past about image, etc., they're the ones to go shopping with perhaps. And when you have a tapered two-piece sort of look, you have an endless variety of mix and match. And so with pants, you just need some black or navy, even white you can have, but you know, a darker colour, and then you can wear multiple tops, interesting tops, you know. If you're dumpy like me, you don't want big hibiscus florals and stuff like that. You want dainty, you want line, length type of thing, or just go for plain colours that contrast or match, whatever. Yeah, a little scarf here or there. Anyway, so that's just briefly addressing the question I had about being short and how to elongate yourself and be comfortable and stylish. And like I said, all the attention must be here from the neck up. So, having said that, I'll have to have another sip of my tea. Now, we're having a very muggy day here on the farm, so I've got a fan going in the background. It's a bit steamy. Now, back to our Women of Wisdom, and I have a lovely book which I've had for some time, and every now and then when I just feel like boosting myself a little bit, I go and I read some little excerpts from it. It's called Women's Wisdom, and it's written by Rabbi Shalom Arush. I've used his books before, and it's translated by Rabbi Lazer Brody. I think you can get this online. I think I got this in a bookshop. I can't give you a definitive location for it, but I refer to it quite often. There's lovely little short things in it that you can read in a few minutes, and of course it's one of those things that's great to take with you when you travel, because even if you've read it once, you kind of come back, and when you read it again and again, it's still like reading it for the first time. It reminds us. So I'm referring to that today in this video. And what I guess I want to say is let's discuss our responsibility as women. Now, this by no means today covers all our responsibilities, but I always think it's a good place to start, because many of you viewing are probably married or mothers or grandmothers or young mums, married mums, etc. So I just feel that this is a good section to start with, and I've called it women's responsibility. Now, you could be a housewife, a stay-at-home mum, or you can be a working mum and have not only a house but also a job, etc. to go to. So whichever way you look at it, the role of a mother, a woman, is very diverse. You know, you're the master of everything. You have to have your head over and around everything. So I want to just refer now to, for those of you who might have this book, it is on page 36, and it's called Chief of Staff. So I'm going to read you just a few paragraphs out of this. It's very short. It's only a page long in the book, because I just smiled the whole way through this, and I immediately said I must share this with Wow Weekly. So here it goes. Chief of Staff. A woman should focus on her responsibilities as a wife, and not dwell upon any flaw in her husband's fulfillment of his responsibilities. She should not lose heart, even if he is falling down, in some areas, a bit weak in some areas. But on the contrary, in that case, she should concentrate and pray for him more. I'm paraphrasing this as we go. And she should pray that he fulfills his roles and responsibilities as a husband, as she should be fulfilling her role and responsibility as a responsible wife. It goes on then and says, a woman's role as a wife includes, and we all know this list, we could all write an endless list, but supervising everything that goes on in her household. That kind of covers everything, doesn't it? And I think, if I may just pause here, but it's usually the wife who remembers when the insurance is due, the phone bills here, the kids' school fees, the parent-teacher end. It's usually the wife that keeps this endless list of when to do it and what we've got to do. And it's, although I must say there are husbands who can do this admirably as well. So there's always exceptions to the rule. But by nature, the woman usually says, oh, I'll take care of that, I'll take care of that. But if you're going to say, I will take care of doing that, I will make that my responsibility, then don't complain when you are doing it. That's my bit of advice. That didn't come out of the book. If you're going to take that on and take the responsibility, then it should be a known fact in the house that mum does that, or my wife takes care of that, and make sure you do it correctly. Don't groan and carry on about the responsibility when you yourself have made it your responsibility, when perhaps it could have been the responsibility the husband took on. Having said that, I just want to qualify that statement. Now, a woman's role as a wife includes supervising everything that goes on in her respective household. When she identifies a problem, she must not only take action to rectify the situation if she can, but pray for a solution. Now, an example, if she sees that her husband is not fulfilling his responsibility, now the responsibilities that he's designated himself to do or decided he will take on, there's a definition here that needs to be revised. My responsibilities as the wife, his responsibilities as the husband and father, mine as the wife and the mother. So there's got to be clear lines of delegation, I think. It's not just enough to say, I think he does that, or him to say, I think she does that, because in the end, nobody knows who's doing what, do they? And then each party is complaining about the other not fulfilling their responsibility. So, clear guidelines, defined lines of responsibility. That's my first advice. But anyway, if she, for example, sees that her husband is not fulfilling those designated responsibilities, then she must pray that he recognises his shortcomings and does make every effort to improve his responsibilities. And a gentle reminder is quite appropriate, but a gentle reminder is not, you never took the garbage out today, or, it's, has the garbage gone out? There's a whole big difference, isn't there? Now, if a woman's home, this is the bit I love. If a woman's home is an army, it sure can be a battlefield, the home, then she is the chief of staff. She must be aware of everything regarding her home and her family. She must pay attention to significant details that others may consider minor. She is in the best position to recognize potentially problematic areas, and she is in a position to pray for their rectification. Hashem has given her gifts of special womanly wisdom. Hashem has given us gifts of special womanly wisdom to foresee problems and compensate for deficiencies, just as the Chief of Staff knows how to anticipate problematic areas and send reinforcements to a weak flank in the front line. Oh, I love it. I love the way this is written. I could not put it in words like that. I'm going to read it again, girls. I think we need to listen to this again. We can all learn something from this. Hashem has given her the gift of special womanly wisdom to foresee problems and compensate for deficiencies, just as the Chief of Staff knows how to anticipate problematic areas and send reinforcements to a weak flank on the front line. As with any good commander, she must place herself at the head of her team, fulfilling her duties, supervising the actions of all the other soldiers, and accepting her responsibility with honor and joy. Honor and joy. Women, like truly commendable military commanders, usually possess a well-developed sense of responsibility. The wife must take the helm if she sees that her husband is not fulfilling his responsibilities. So in other words, it's not enough just to say, oh, he's not doing it, I'll just let it all pop. I mean, you do need to use wisdom and gentleness and appropriateness in reminding them of their responsibilities. So, the wife must take the helm if she sees that her husband is not fulfilling his responsibility, his designated and accepted responsibilities. She must pray for him, never losing heart, and beg Hashem to help her husband become a more responsible partner in the marriage and in the home. The successful wife who creates a successful home is in effect Hashem's partner in the creation of the world. I'm going to leave it sort of close on that note because I think it bears another cup of tea and thinking again, doesn't it? Because in lots of ways it is like running a household with several children, and especially if both parents are working and got full-time jobs. It's a military operation, make no mistake about it. It is. It's not a holiday, come see, come do, whatever. It's, you know, things have got to be done at a certain time in a certain way. You know, you've got a clock to stick by. So it is, in many ways, a military, you know, domestic military operation. And every party to that troop has to have responsibilities, and they have to know things that are going to happen and when it's going to happen and who's responsible for it. And I think most working mothers will have some insight into that. And it's like a fine-tuned military camp. Everyone knows what has to be done and what their responsibilities. And that doesn't mean that the kiddies, young and all as they may be, they need to start having responsibilities at a very early age, be it to make sure the water bowl for the dog or the cat's always full, or give them a little task, one thing at a time that they have to do. That's their responsibility. And you have to be consistent with that. So everyone's responsibilities has to be dealt with in a consistent, managed and recognised and understood way. Ladies, I've so much enjoyed our chat and cup of tea today, and I look forward to being back with you all again next week. And in the meantime, remember you're partners with Hashem in creation by the mere fact that you're running your household in the correct way. Please take care, my dears, and God bless.